Every single day, we're all faced with choices, right? Some feel tiny, others feel huge. Well, today, we're going to dive into a really profound spiritual narrative that frames this whole daily struggle. It's all about a choice between two paths, one of divine guidance and the other of temptation. So let's get into it and explore the promise that sits at the very heart of this journey.
And boom, right away, the narrative sets the stage with this incredibly powerful command. Just think about that imagery, footsteps. It suggests that going down the wrong path isn't usually some giant leap. It's a series of small, maybe even unnoticeable choices that lead you somewhere you never meant to go. It's really a call to be mindful, with every step we take.
So here's what's interesting. Before we're even told what to avoid, the source gives us a guide for what to seek. This isn't just a list of don'ts. It's actually a positive framework for how to live and engage with the world. And it all boils down to two key ideas, halal and tayyib.
Okay, so let's break that down. Halal means something is divinely permitted. But the guidance doesn't just stop there, which is the cool part. It's paired with tayyib, which means it's also pure, wholesome, and genuinely good for you. So the whole idea isn't just about following rules. It's about actively looking for what is truly beneficial. This is the bedrock for living a conscious life.
All right, so once that foundation of divine guidance is set, the narrative introduces the opposing force, and there's zero ambiguity here. The source actually calls Satan an open enemy. Now that's significant, right? It implies the threat isn't hiding in the shadows or trying to be sneaky. It's declared, it's clear, and its entire goal is to pull you away from that good and wholesome path.
So what do those footsteps we talked about actually lead to? Well, the text is super specific. It points to two main things: outright evil and actions of shamelessness or immorality. We're not talking about subtle little mistakes here. This is a direct attack on those principles of purity and goodness we just covered. The whole goal is to completely flip that divine guidance on its head.
And this, right here, brings us to the absolute heart of the conflict. It's all framed as a critical choice between two competing promises, one from the enemy and one from God. And each one paints a totally different picture of the world, and really, our place in it.
This comparison just lays it all out so clearly. On one side, you have Satan's promise, which is all about fear and scarcity. He threatens you with poverty, making you anxious, trying to push you towards indecency. But on the other side, God's promise is one of total abundance, forgiveness when you mess up, and mercy and bounty in your life. It's a clear choice between a story of fear and a story of hope.
And to really drive home just how reliable God's promise is, the source points out two specific attributes. All-encompassing means that his capacity for mercy and bounty is literally boundless. There's no limit. And all-knowing means there's a perfect wisdom behind it that understands exactly what you're going through and what you actually need.
Okay, this leads to a really important question. We're all human, right? So what happens when we inevitably take a wrong step? Is that it? Is everything lost? The narrative gives a firm, resounding no. Instead, it lays out a clear, practical roadmap for how to find your way back.
So here's the path back, broken down into 4 clear steps. First, you've got to acknowledge the mistake. You can't fix what you don't admit is broken. Second, you immediately turn your thoughts back to God. You recenter yourself. Third, you actively ask for forgiveness. And finally, and this is key, you make a conscious choice not to keep doing it. It's a process that's active and intentional, not just wishful thinking.
This question right here is so powerful. It sits at the very heart of repentance, and it's designed to just wipe away any doubt or despair. By framing it this way, the text is emphasizing that the ultimate source of forgiveness is singular and absolute. It's a way of saying that the door to come back is never, ever truly closed. It makes that path back always feel possible.
So what's the end game? What's the final outcome for those who choose guidance or for those who stumble but find their way back? Well, the narrative concludes by showing us exactly how that divine promise we saw earlier gets fulfilled. It describes the ultimate reward.
The text uses this stunning, serene imagery to describe the reward. It's not just an abstract idea of forgiveness. It's a tangible state of peace and tranquility, represented by these lush gardens with flowing rivers, which is such a stark contrast to the fear and scarcity promised by the enemy, isn't it?
And here's what makes this reward so incredibly significant. Its permanence. This state of peace isn't just a fleeting moment. The source makes it a point to say that this is an eternal reward. That gives every single good choice you make in this life a really profound and lasting meaning.
The entire narrative wraps up with this one last powerful statement. It's a celebration of the effort, of the work involved. It frames that ultimate reward not as some passive gift, but as the fitting, beautiful, and excellent outcome for those who actively choose and strive to do good.
And so, we end up right back where we started, with a choice. This whole story, from the first piece of guidance to the final reward, hinges on which promise a person decides to believe in. The one rooted in fear and scarcity, or the one rooted in forgiveness and abundance. So the source leaves us with this final question to really think about. Which of these two paths truly leads to a state of peace?